Hello and happy holidays, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo, and welcome to Race First coverage of Team SCOWRS Christmas 500, coming to you from my hometown of Indianapolis and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Also joining me in the booth, he is the reigning and defending two-time Division I Indy Fixed Series champion. Please welcome Mark Murphy. So, Mark, home for the holidays. You're a native Hoosier. What does Indy mean to you?
Indy means a whole lot of things, Gary. It's the start of summer. It means the corn's planted. It means basketball season's over. It means a day in the sunshine with my family and my dad, my brother, and it means a really good time with your friends. And so that's what this is all about, right? For us on iRacing, we're gonna have a good time with our friends today. We have, at last count, 17 cars in here for this one. The cool thing is about 15 of them could win this race. This might be a short field, but it is a really strong one.
Yeah, this is going to be the first of several 500-mile races this week to kind of close out and protest in some cases, but I think close out in a positive way. The way that last week went down with the IP property ownership and who can use it and who cannot. We'll talk about that a little bit during the race, but we got about a minute 40 left here in warm-up. Qualifications have already been done, and we will get that on the screen for you here. And they will start lining up, and we will go racing for 500 miles here in Indianapolis.
Just watching the warm-up, the way the weather is here, and the fact that this is an open setup race, kind of makes me think it's going to be pretty racy. 84 degrees with a track temp of 107 here, so it's a rather warm day in Indianapolis. The wind, though, is something that you'll want to keep an eye on. It's out of the west at 7 miles an hour, so that's going to make turn 2 the trouble spot. We've already seen some guys kind of lamenting the lack of grip in that corner of the track. It caught me out. I ran some laps earlier. Caught me out because there's a shadow. There was a shadow.
Yeah, the sweets.
Something I've never experienced. Sim time is just now 11 o'clock, so the sun is just now over the sweets.
Well, let's take a look at today's starting lineup. Andrew Marquez on the pole, Mr. Safest Driver in Lionheart. So he will be bringing the field down to take the green. David Graybill, P2. Aaron McQuarrie, P3. Clint Martin, P4. So SCOWRS locks out the top 4 spot. Daniel Borghi, P5. Our man with 4D Racing, Craig Forsyth in P6. We're moving on next to the next 3 rows. Archie Coveney, P7. Jason Wallet, P8. Frankie Francica, the best name in all of sim racing, P9. Thomas Geisler, Tommy G, my teammate here at Race First, P10. Gavin Smith, P11. And Christopher Hetzel at 12. Moving on, Jesper Orman back in the 13th spot. Dale Weiser, 14th. Will Weiser, 15th. And Dicka Scarlett, I hope I'm saying that right, is 16th. And Bill Colley, the second, is 17th in shotgun on the field. So we're going to be watching Jesper Orman come from deep in this field to the front. 17 cars, 200 laps, 500 miles as we are kicking off the final week here on iRacing with the SCOWRS Christmas 500. And if we could actually spell Christmas right in the graphic there's Christmas. There we go. Christmas.
No worries, Gary. That's a big name starting in 13th spot right there, Jesper Orman. Circling among favorites for this race. Again, I said it earlier, 15 cars could realistically win this. There are any number of great drivers in this field. If you had to pick 2 that I'm looking at, I'm going to take Jesper Orman as the favorite, even though he's starting 13th. It is a short field. Given that it's an open setup and we know Jesper can both work traffic and save fuel, he would be one of my favorites. And the dark horse has to be Aaron McQuarrie, a split winner. in the official 500, a very cautious and safe driver, very strategic. I like his chances today.
Yeah, McQuarrie is their Season 2 of 2022 Division 3 Indy Open Series champion. So he definitely knows what he's doing to bring home, and that's Team SCOWRS. I got a lot of Team SCOWRS statistics here that they gave me going into this race, but he definitely knows what he's doing. We've seen him in a couple of the top split fixed races too. Great racer, but looking at this field coming down the backstretch, getting ready to complete the pace lap and go to green.
See him working through turn 3 here. Now keep in mind, turn 1 and 2 are going to be completely different. We've been running this track all week with the wind out of the north, so you've had a tailwind going down the front. Turn 2 is going to be extremely tricky. You're going to have all the grip going. You're going to have all the grip going through turn 1, and then you're going to have none in turn 2, and that's right where you want to be. You want to start switching your weight jacker.
Yeah, you're going to have to move that weight checker almost every lap with the way that the wind is blowing. Green flag in the air, down to the line. Andrew Marquez bringing the field down, has the lead going into 1. It's Marquez, Graybill, and McQuarrie going through 1. Oh, check out Forsyth on the high side.
That is the Tony Kanaan special right there. Go to the outside. Greg Forsyth. Good show there going around. Good show going around Borgie.
Graybill to the lead. The team boss there of SCOWRS taking the top spot here from Andrew Marquez and looking to lead the first lap here at Indianapolis.
Now, I raced with David Graybill earlier today. Dave and myself and Adriano Pinheiro ran the 9:15 fixed race. Dave was the winner by exactly a foot over Mr. Pinheiro. Yours truly about 50 yards behind that great battle. Something that we're not going to see a lot of in this race, I don't think, is aero push, because it is open setup. We were struggling real bad with that. But certainly Dave Graybill, fast car around this place. We see Jesper already making moves there, going around Pencil.
Yep, Jesper Orman up to 11th already. Next.
We'll make that 10th.
Next is Archie Coveney on the main straight there. Coveney in that old Arrows McLaren. Actually, not McLaren, but really just a Schmidt-Peterson livery there. Now Robert Wickens livery there.
I was going to say, it looks like the Wickens car. Got a bit of a blink out of Coveney there. That'll unnerve you going around this place too, especially as close as Jesper is.
Yeah, and then he just disappeared right there. Comes back in. And yeah, blinking is very unnerving. It's almost like an added benefit the driver that's blinking has to keep the drivers behind, because the driver behind wants to pass, but he doesn't know where that car is going to reform. Could reform inside him.
That's very true. That happened to me Saturday in the open race, where we had a little bit of a soft server. Pretty much every driver experienced blinking at one point or another, and that's how I ended up in the wall. There was a blink, and Ryan Eric King reformed inside my car. I got to go for a ride.
At least you're keeping it in the Race First broadcaster family there, but Marquez and Graybill starting to pull away. Let's get the ticker to show you what we got for intervals. They already got a second lead over McQuarrie in P3.
Now, if you're in the front two, you should be able to run fairly comfortably nose to tail here. It's the third car that's going to suffer from the effects of dirty air. Knowing Aaron and having raced against a lot of these guys, it would not surprise me if he has already started the fuel save. So any race that you run, you're going to work it backwards. There's about a 20 lap differential.
Yep.
For that extra stop. And so if you can save a lap or two on each run up to that, you can make your last stop either a splash and dash, and if you get the cautions right, you may not have to make that stop at all.
Well, let's, a key example of that, and let's just go back to the Lionheart IndyCar Series, Indy 500 they had here, and the winner of that particular race shaved an entire pit stop off their strategy, and instead of 6, which is typically what it takes to finish an Indy 500 in most cases, they were able to do it in 5. And now it's just simply running long and then running in a very similar spot McQuarrie is, except the winner of the Lionheart race a little bit closer to the leaders, where they were able to stay within that draft and the fuel conserve. He is just out. He is actually just out of the draft right now, 1.5 back. So the draft envelope extends about 1.5 seconds behind these cars. So he is out of it now, 1.6. So he's going to be a tough ask now of Aaron to save a lot of fuel when now he is really in clean air by himself.
The added benefit of that, though, of course, is if you're in clean air, like such as Aaron McQuarrie right now, he's going to be saving tires.
Mm-hmm.
So, second place, David Graybill, he's not saving tires right now. Him and Marquez going hammer and tong after this thing. They're running flat out. They're going to be using up not just their fuel, but their tires. And tires here do go off, not initially, not in the first 10 to 15 laps, but from lap 20 to 30 into a run, Gary, those tires are going to start losing grip, especially the right rear, depending on how your setup is. That baby's going to start getting loose, and that's where McQuarrie's going to make up his ground here, if it can be made.
Yeah, the winner of that Lionheart race was Alexis Newsom, by the way. An excellent strategy. In fact, I was spotting for one of our race first participants in that series, and I said, going into the race, I think we should try to save as much fuel and shave a pit stop off the end. He goes, he wasn't sure if that was going to be able to work, and we ended up nixing that strategy, and that was the strategy that ended up winning the race.
Whoa, we got a caution here. We have a caution. There's a car on the wall.
I think Frankie Franchica might have had a shunt there.
That was a wild ride for Frankie. Let's see if we can get in the Wayback Machine and see what's going on with Frankie Franchica.
Yeah, we got to here real quick. Overlay is not agreeing right now. There we go. Let's go in the Wayback Machine here. Check out Frankie, see what happened. We see Frankie a lot in other leagues that are here on Racer. Oh, he bounced it off the wall in turns 1 and 2, and then did all sorts of things in the short chute. Let's check this out. Stud. Yeah, he just slightly kissed it.
And that's easy to do. He got a little bit high. If you look at his line, he got a little bit high through 1 and 2. Through 1. Didn't quite get down to that white line all the way. And again, wind out of the west. So it's going to be pushing you off that corner. Got a little bit too high, and that's day done for Frankie Franchica.
Back up to the front on live TV, going through the north end of the racetrack. Our leaders. Let's see if we got any takers down pit road. Still a little bit early. We are only 10 laps into this thing. It's about 10 laps early for the earliest of pit stops if you want to make them. But those back further in the field might want to make the shunt down pit road real quick and top off and get some new tires. Do we have any takers? Jason Wallall, excuse me. Here comes...
Late dive from Forsyth.
Forsyth. So Forsyth, we know Forsyth can play the fuel game. And he is definitely, he won the RIL race last week at Motegi based on pit strategy alone. And we know he knows how to play this well. And he's down there get top off new tires. And this will get him pretty good set until maybe approximately lap 40 or 50, depending on how much fuel he can save. Down and away. And meanwhile, up at the front, we still have Marquez, Graybill, McQuarrie, Clint Martin, And Daniela Borghi is there in P5. Christopher Hetzel, I hope I'm saying that right, there in that older Target Chip Ganassi livery. He is up to 6th. Gavin Smith has moved up to 7th. And Bill Connolly, the 2nd there, has worked his way up to 8th by virtue of just not stopping. So Forsyth, he is the first of the cars we will be watching as they are the ones that stopped for fuel and tires, and see how far they can get up into this second group. The second group now is looking approximately the mid-30s by the time they pit next.
Yeah, so something you'll want to watch: how quickly can Forsyth, Forsyth, Wallet, Tommy G, and Jesper work through this group? We're going to see Bill Colley pull off here, take the trip down pit road. I've raced with Bill a lot. He's a great guy. He also knows exactly his limitations, and I think Bill saw the names behind him and decided he better come and take him some tires too. Ooh, looks like he missed his pit box. He did miss his pit box.
Oh, interesting. He's right at the start-finish line, so he went over the start-finish line and came back.
Yeah, and let's hope that doesn't get him a penalty.
Well, it threw timing and scoring for a bit of a loop, because it put him to the top by a lap on my overlay for a second, and I'm like, okay. I guess that's one way to exploit the system.
It just, I'm sure it'll update when he comes back.
Yeah, it looks like it's already updated there.
He slid through his box pretty good, and that's easy to do here too. You've got asphalt pit lane, concrete box. Tires are still hot and are worn out a little bit. Super easy if you don't have the brake bias just right to slide through that box.
Well, he is rejoining the field as they're at the north end of the racetrack, up between turns 3 and 4. Coming to, I believe, are we coming to green? No, we still got lights on the pace car, I think.
I'm going to go back and look at that and see if...
No, lights are out on the pace car, so we are getting ready to go green, I think.
Ooh, so, and this is something we'll want to watch for during green flag stops. Bill actually, he had the fronts locked, and he had to unlock the car to avoid hitting the pit wall.
Oh. And we are back underway. Marquez, Graybill, McQuarrie, and Martin. Team SCOWRS locking out the top 4 positions in the 1. Daniel Borghi with that Mass Devils team trying to keep pace here, but here comes Graybill down the backstretch in the draft underneath Marquez, clears him into 3, and we have a new leader.
Same time, Clint Martin went past Aaron McQuarrie in the 3rd. Borghi now closes down on McQuarrie for 4th. You got quite a gap back to the Hetzel Smith Forsyth group. Craig not making as much headway as we might have thought. It may take 5-10 laps.
Borghi in the 1. Sorry, Borghi in the 1 underneath McQuarrie, getting the 4th spot from Aaron.
Yeah, and I think Aaron might be in super fuel save now, trying to narrow that gap. The guys that stopped, they're going to be full tilt here.
Here's Craig underneath Gavin Smith into 3. He's cleared him. Move Forsyth in the first of the pitted cars up to P7. So here's all the IndyCar track records you need to know about Indianapolis. Of course, single unofficial track record set here back in '96 on Fast Friday. Of course, practice, even though it is an official practice day, the speeds are unofficial. Ari Leyendijk set that with a 239.260. That might be a while before we see that one fall still. He set that back again in '96. The single official lap, and he set this back in day 2 of quals in '96, is 237.498. We might see that fall at some point. We shall see. The 4-lap average, 236.986. And that was also set by Ari Leyendyk on day 2 of quals at 96. Although that is the official 4-lap average. That is not the official fastest pole average. The pole average is actually owned by, and again, comes back to the whole different days of qualifying back before they kind of streamlined the qualifying they do now in the NTT IndyCar Series. The pole average speed actually is now owned by Dixon, who set that this year. So the official race average, 236.1. We might see a 236 in the race at some point. I don't know, but Eddie Cheever set that, but again, back in 86. The official race average, a little bit more contemporary, 190.690, set by Helio Castroneves, set in 2001. Of course, you know the 4 horsemen of IndyCar racing, or the Mount Rushmore of IndyCar racing, are the 4-time winners here at Indianapolis: Foyt, Unser Sr., Rick Mears, Castroneves. We got a lot of 3-time winners that got real close. No one really close right at the moment. Franchitti, Meyer, Rose, Rutherford, Shaw, and Bobby Unser each have 3. Your active leading drivers at the moment, besides Castroneves with 4. Don't forget Takuma Sato out there with 2, and Juan Montoya still with 2. Of course, we know Team Penske figuratively and literally owns the Speedway. The team has amassed 18 wins between 13 different drivers. Penske's Entertainment Group are now the owners and operators of the Speedway since 2020. And there's all the real records you need to know about this place. At this time of year, it's almost under lockdown. You can visit today the Hall of Fame Museum is open. You can visit that. It's open year-round with the exception, I believe, of Christmas. And also, weather permitting and track conditions permitting, you can get on the tour bus and take a mile, or take a tour of the 2.5-mile oval and ride around, including going over the yard of bricks at the start-finish line.
Speaking of the museum and facts about the Speedway, Gary, have you had a chance to do the basement thing?
No, I am not. And there's it's almost like the basement of the Alamo with Pee Wee Herman. But yeah, there's actual basement there that has a lot of stuff that we haven't seen yet.
So so my son and I, AJ, had the opportunity to do that back, mid-March of this year. We had a chance to go down there. Amazing experience, well worth the money that it costs to get down there. But I learned something. You were talking about Indianapolis 500 facts. I learned something that I did not know, and it has to do with the Ari Leyendyk record cars, the 95 and 96 winners. And this would probably stun everybody except for Craig Forsyth.
I don't think. I know Ari had a Renard, but did he have Jacques' year-old car?
So Ari's car was Villeneuve's backup the year before.
Okay.
And the Lazier winner was also owned at one time by the Forsyth Green team. So all 3 of those Renards are, shall we call them, sisters?
Oh, wow. And and all 3 are pretty important to the heritage of IndyCar racing at that time.
Absolutely. We're finally going to see Jesper get around Tommy G here. He's been working at that for several laps. Put him up into the top 10.
Oh, not yet!
Yeah.
Oh! Each one giving a lot of each other a lot of respect and a lot of room there.
As you would expect early in a 500-mile race. We're at lap 21. No need to...
Borman's going to send it to 3.
He's got him this time. That high line, as we know, used to be fairly prevalent here, especially in the fixed car. You could get up there and run the cushion at the Speedway. When they did the rescan, that went away, much to the delight of most of us, to be real. About
the only one that can run it is Pinero. he gets up there and lives in that high line. That's Adriano Pinero over in the fixed series. He likes to run that high line. There's quite a few also over in the Lionheart IndyCar series that I saw that were running it as well. But it's not a line that you could live in like in the old scan.
Yeah. So my favorite was watching. You ever hear the name? You heard the name Bob Bryant recently?
No.
He was in my split of the official 500, and he ran the whole thing basically like it was a sprint car race at Eldora. He was up there. He was up there high, wide, and handsome. I bet he really did run the Indianapolis 505. He was way up there in that high line. So Jesper's gone by Gavin Smith, and now he's passed Hetzel to move Jesper Orman into 8th, and now he's getting up into the top group here. A little bit of a ways up the road to Forsyth and McQuarrie. He trailed Borgie by a little bit. There's fair gap between Borgie and Martin, and then Graybill and Marquez in the lead. I thought it would take till about halfway for Jesper to get there.
Well, for those that want to do an early pit, other than those that stop, the window is open. We're past lap 20. But for those that are leading and haven't stopped already, they're probably within about 10 laps of their first stop.
Yeah, and I was going to say those guys are going to want to run it dry here. There is a 10-lap differential. Gary.
Yeah, it happened. The caution happened right about lap 10, 11.
Yeah, so you got a 10-lap differential. We know that McQuarrie probably saving fuel. Fairly obvious that that's the case. So they might be able to make it with 3 caution laps. They might be able to get it to lap 35 or 36, I would think. Again, open setup race. We don't know what their downforce levels and gearing are.
Yep.
Just see Craig blink a little bit.
And he has not returned. Forsyth has not returned.
His quality just dropped into the 60s. It's 69 right now. I'm hoping it comes back, but
now if he's done, this is this is actually just a minor hurdle for him. We had a race at Homestead, I believe, in the RIL. He blinked out, and it just happened that as he blinked out and lagged out, a caution fell. So he only went 1 lap down, managed to get back on the lead lap, and and then he finished the race in the top 5. So this hopefully is not a major drop for him. But it is looking more and more like this is pretty terminal for Craig Forsyth.
Yeah, his quality's down to 22 now, 21. He hasn't lagged completely out yet, but it's not coming back. His ping's really good. It's 100, which is the same as most everybody else in the server.
Well, showing him in the pit now.
There he just dropped. So we'll move Orman to 6th, Hetzel to 7th, Giesler to 8th, Smith to 9th, and Wallet to 10th to round out your top 10. Andrew Marquez still leads from David Graybill, 0.6 of a second, another second back to Clint Martin. Those are your top 3. Borgie, McQuarrie, Orman, and Hetzel, the top 7. We are 28 laps into this Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, if you're joining us, this is race first coverage of Team SCOWRS Christmas 500. Coming to you from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've completed 28 of a scheduled 200 full 500 miler. If you're enjoying race first coverage of today's race, and just do us a solid, hit us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button there, and subscribe to the channel. It is Christmas. If you feel like contributing to the commentary team, you can send us super chats right there at the very bottom of the chat. Just hit the dollar bill icon, and that can send super chats our way. But we want to thank Team SCOWRS, David Graybill, for thinking of us to bring this action to you. The first of many, and I mean many 500s this week. It's almost like May with so many 500s scheduled this week. I think just about almost every league has a final going out the door broadcast 500 of some form or another. That's going to be either at Indianapolis or in the case of the real high rollers, that's going to be at Michigan in the U.S. 500 they're going to have there.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time. I Personally, I think I'm going to run that race. For me, we're going to do the Richmond broadcast, and then I might join you guys in the booth for Spa. But I am the world's worst road course driver, so no chance of me being in that race. But I think Richmond and Michigan are probably going to be my last two. High rollers indeed. I would be willing to bet that the strength of field for that 33 car race up in Michigan is going to be north of 5,000 or 33 cars.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that the strength of field we had for our fixed Indianapolis race on Tuesday or Monday, the super split, was 4.7. And that, I believe, is the highest strength of field race we've ever had on the broadcast, I believe. I have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And so I would expect the US 500 race to be really close to 5K. Marquez on pit road, scheduled pit stop.
And that's about where we figured.
Yeah.
He's been out there leading, so 31 laps.
And we got another car coming on the pit road. That is Gavin Smith, I believe. So that's a scheduled pit stop for him. So the scheduled stops are occurring. Lead now goes to the boss man, David Graybill.
That's right. He's got Clint Martin behind him in Borgie, then Jesper. I'm watching Aaron McQuarrie because how much fuel has Aaron saved? We suspect that he is saving, but how much is the question? And the other thing we didn't really talk about is the
not much, because he's coming to pit road now.
Yep. Something we didn't talk about much is the pit delta here. So if you're within 2 or 3 seconds of the leader, you can make a stop here
and not go a lap down. Yeah.
Right. So that's hugely important to McQuarrie, Graybill, Borgie, those drivers, Clint Martin, that have stayed out. Right. Because
and he just rolled through his spot a little bit, so that cost him a little extra time. We're watching McQuarrie on pit road right now, getting full service, tires, fuel, and away. But that cost him a little bit of extra time on pit road.
Borgie now on pit road.
Yeah, and we got Graybill on pit road as well. So Clint Martin's going the longest right now. Jesper Orman has joined him, and that's pretty good for Orman considering how hard he's been having to race. Tommy G, he is currently moved up to third, and actually, my mistake on Jesper and Tommy G. They are part of that group that pitted early. That was formerly led by Craig Forsyth. I think Craig is back. There is the car. It is on the track. If he intends to win this, he's going to have to do it just like the last guy that drove the 27 here at Indianapolis to victory lane. He's going to have to come back from 2 laps down.
Yes, I've got him 3 down.
Yeah, it's got 3 laps down, yep.
So, not an insurmountable task with wave rounds and things like that. Craig's still in it with a chance. Here comes Clint Martin into pit lane. He would be the last of the cars that did not stop on the lap 10 caution. He's in for service.
Here is Jesper Orman, and he has Tommy G right behind him by about 7 seconds, but Jesper is clear of just about everybody for the moment. He's now 24 laps in his current stint.
He is indeed. I'm looking to see where Clint's going to come out here.
And in comparison to where Jesper is, where's Andrew Marquez? Andrew Marquez in turn 3. So about a half lap lead now for Jesper.
And Jesper is pretty close to the draft of Clint Martin, who is pretty close to Daniel Borgie. So those guys are in the danger zone here. They need this thing to stay green as long as they can. And then you also, one thing that's very much overlooked is getting on and off pit road. Those IAR cars, and I have no idea how they do it, but they are fabulous getting on and off pit road. So that's going to be a huge advantage for Jesper in this race, not just in the cycle, but for the whole race. The longer it stays green, the longer that plays to him.
Yep, Jesper, of course, finished 4th in the Open Wheels 500. So he is, I believe, of all the cars that participated, all the drivers that participated that they're in this race, he was the highest finishing driver. So he is looking to improve upon that here at the SCOWRS Christmas 500 here at Indianapolis. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Smash the like. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it.
And the other, we're calling this race the Christmas 500, Gary. A lot of people may not know this that aren't from Indiana or Indianapolis. They actually do a Christmas light thing at the Speedway.
Yes.
And how cool would that be if they put the Christmas lights in here for this?
It'd have to be a night race.
Go down the back stretch and see Frosty the Snowman looking at you, right?
The lights at the I forget what it's called. Lights at the Brickyard or something like that. Yeah, I've actually done that once, and it was pretty cool. You drive on portions of the road course. You kind of went through the garage area a little bit. You got to drive through there. Got to drive down the front stretch. It was a pretty good time. Pretty good time. Well, the closest battle on the racetrack right now is Indica Scarlett on the inside of Tommy G going in the one. Scarlett with that nondescript purple car, I would say very Buddy Lazier-like. Here comes Tommy G. Going to take the position back going into 3. He has it cleared. Give the position back to Tommy. Indica staying high going through. Oh, Tommy G stays high and just flashes the bad air. That's defensive driving.
Away from him, though.
He's not getting away, but nope. And here comes Indica down the front straight at the yard of bricks to the inside, going into 1, wheel to wheel.
Now, I don't know how much I would be wanting to use up my new tires here. Right? You've already got Orman. We got a caution. Caution.
Gavin Smith, I think. Right at lap 40, show him in the pits, and yeah, this is Gavin Smith in turn 2, off the wall, into the inside barrier. Oh, hard lick.
Yeah. So what you're looking at right there, that's the wind. That's a 7-mile-an-hour wind out of the west, Gary.
So this might allow Craig Forsyth, if everyone pits, to get back at least a lap. We'll see. I'm sure everyone's going to pit. Forsyth only has 12 laps on his current stint, so he should get a lap back here if he stays out and no one else stops. I'm sure everyone else, Marquez might not stop. We see he's 10 laps into his current stint. He might just say, I'm on a strategy, I'm going to go for it. So really, Forsyth needs everybody in front of him to head to pit road.
If you're Craig, it's really simple. You're either gonna stay out if the leader comes in. The minute that a lead lap car in front of you stays out, you're coming in.
Yep.
It's that simple. He's got to do the opposite of everybody else, really, for the rest of the race. It's 41 laps down, so
yeah, right at the 100-mile mark.
Yep. Leader is coming in.
Everybody's coming in. Well, with the exception of McQuarrie, and I believe they might be laps down. They might be lapped down because of their stop, so they're wanting to...
McQuarrie and Hetzel are already a lap down. Colley's staying out. Borgie. I show David Grable still on the track here.
Yep.
So if he stayed out, that's going to trap Craig.
And there's David Grable right there.
Yeah. So that's going to trap Craig a lap down. So now if you're Forsyth, well, I don't know.
I'd stay out.
Yeah, he's right there. You might as well.
Proceeds for today's race go to the Indy Family Foundation. The mission of the Indy Family Foundation, the IFF, is to aid those in the motorsports community, regardless of the sanctioning body, who find themselves in financial need due to hardship caused by illness, injury, or death. Their assistance is available not only to race car drivers, but to all licensed participants in racing, including crew members, course workers, support and administrative personnel, public relations, and media representative, team owners, as well as their immediate family members. You too can also give to the Indy Family Foundation. Just go to indyfamilyfoundation.com, and there is a give button that you can donate to them as well. And as proceeds of today's race go to the IFF.
Such a wonderful cause. They do an awesome job, and it's not just IndyCar people. It's USAC guys. A lot of the short track guys benefit from that as well. Yeah, so it's not just IndyCar. Yeah, so
regardless of sanctioning body, which is really, really, really nice that everyone's kind of paying it forward. Regardless if you're an IndyCar driver or you're a dirt driver, or maybe you're just kind of a modified driver. Regardless, everyone's paying it forward. So Graybill getting up underneath the rear fender of the Pace Pontiac there.
I've been known to go inside the Pace car.
Pace Mustang. You can.
I've been known to get in the thing.
Yeah, you can. If you're not familiar with iRacing, the Pace car is and you're going to see it maybe right here as he tries to pass through it a little bit, is not a solid object, so you could actually run through it if you had to.
It's our version of messing with Elmo.
So your top three is Graybill, Borgie, Orman. Graybill and Borgie on 9-lap old tires. Orman with the freshies, as well as Scarlett, Geisler, and Coveney. They're on freshies as well. We're getting ready to go green. Pace car is going to dip in right there. Does a power slide coming to pit road. And we're getting ready to go green once more at lap 44.
Nice jump by David Graybill. We did see Forsyth come in and pit, by the way, when Graybill stayed out. So smart move from him. Graybill gets out, drops the hammer. Him and Borgie are gonna need to try to get away. The best opportunity to pass, by the way, if you're watching this at home, the best opportunity to pass is on a restart, but not where you would think it would be. It's right here as we see Borgie go to the inside of Graybill.
And showing that high line right there, we were talking about it. It is useful at points, and very interested third party here, Jesper Orman.
Yeah, that took a lot out of Borgie's tires.
Here comes Jesper. Jesper is right there on Borgie's attenuator, and he is just staying in line.
That is a choice.
Yes.
That was a choice from Jesper. He knows he's got the fuel on these guys. He knows they're going to have to stop before him. He knows he had a huge advantage. There's no need for him to go race them.
Yeah,
was interesting.
If he could save, as many as 3 or 4 laps behind these guys for fuel, and these guys still have 10 laps more on him, that's 13 laps that he's going to have on these guys. I mean, that's almost half a tank.
It is, and it's more than half of that margin that we talked about earlier, that missing 20 laps. It's more than half that he would have saved.
Well, let's take a tour of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we ride along with my good pal Jesper Orman, coming off of turn 2 down the back straight between fairways and holes there of the Brickyard Crossing. There are, I believe, 3 holes of the Brickyard Crossing golf course inside the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is the home course for the Speedway Sparkplug high school team. That's they get to play their high school golf there out at corner number 4 down the main straight, paralleling Georgetown Road. As we get to turn 1, this is where 16th and Georgetown meet. Right behind turn 1, grandstands are right here. That is where your main ticket booth is and your main entrance. Coming across the tunnel right there that brings you to the infield and into the Hall of Fame Museum area. Back down the backstretch again, past the Riley Children's Hospital suites. Some of the original suites in all of racing right there in turn 2 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. coming up to the best seat in the house right here in the Northwest Vista. Right here. If you can get seats right here for the 500, it's the best seat in the house right there. Down the front straight. Over another pedestrian tunnel.
Now, I might disagree with you on the best seat in the house, because my seat is right there where he just passed. So where you see that break, there's a tunnel between the A and B box seats. I am right there at the top of the bottom level. Right where that crossover gate is there.
Yes, we're getting those wheels well below the white line, almost down to the concrete. Concrete used to be where the rumble strips were. The rumble strips are no longer there anymore.
They don't need to be there anymore, Gary. That concrete is like driving on ice.
Yes, we've seen Connor Daly a couple seasons ago, a couple years ago, and coming to the restart, spun his car around. But giving you a tour of the 2.5 mile oval right here, seeing the portions of the road course there.
So you mentioned the golf course earlier. It's actually 4 holes.
4 holes, okay. That's right.
7, 8, 9, and 10. The lake at 8 is where they set up the glamping experience.
The glamour camping, if you're not familiar with the word, yeah.
That is right. That lake holds approximately 840 of Mark Murphy's golf balls.
Actually, I've heard that if you scour the shorelines of the lake and maybe get in there about ankle deep or maybe knee deep at some point, you might find some old bricks from the brickyard, the original brick surface that have been disposed of in the lake.
I've heard that too.
Well, I think I saw. I forget. He annoys the heck out of me during the NASCAR broadcast. He's got that weird, wacky guy, Rutledge. Yeah, I think he got in there with Dale Jr. and I think they dug some up.
Now the creek that runs under the track.
Yes, the creek that used to be that you could see if you watched races from the 70s. You could definitely see that creek because there's like a big ditch that ran almost through turn 1.
Yes, so the creek is now under the track as opposed to visible, but that is the same creek that meanders through the golf course. The actual other 14 holes are built adjacent to that creek and around it, and there are bricks all throughout that creek. I've never seen one in the pond, or in the infield golf course ponds, but I have seen them all throughout the rest of the crossing. But that lake there at number 8 is the bane of my existence.
You're watching Andrew Marquez through turn 1 right there. That's where the main entrance is, the ticket booth, the main office there for the Speedway. And that's the Riley Children's Hospital Suites. Used to be part of the Brickyard or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hotel. That is no longer here anymore. And now
that's a place.
Go ahead.
Now that's a place I never had the opportunity to go to. It was torn down a little bit before I got old enough to experience it.
And it looked a bit. When you start comparing it to like some of the other hotels, the higher end hotels in the city, it kind of started to look a bit like a dive. I remember when I was a kid though, and I forget why we were on the west side of town, but it was the day of the 500. 500 was over. I think maybe we had to take my uncle or an aunt or a family member to the airport. Of course, the airport not very far away from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at all. Oh. And he says, and as we're driving home, he says, "You want to go by the track?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." I think again, I was fairly young, but I wanted to check it. It was 1980, so I would have been six years old. And as we drove by the Speedway, the Minneapolis Motor Speedway Hotel had one of those boards where they would slap the letters up on, and they would that vacancies or specials or whatever, and it said on the board, it said, "Congratulations, Johnny Rutherford." And yeah. that's my last memory really of the hotel there. It kind of looked a bit like a dive hotel there towards the end, kind of what you expect to see along Route 66, like in the 60s, something like that.
It basically, from what I understand, was a perfect replica of a 1960s Holiday Inn. But some of the rooms do survive on the bottom of the suites.
Yes, they do.
So,
and actually, drivers did stay there. Drivers did stay there. If drivers did not stay there, chances are they were renting a house or renting a room with a family somewhere else around the speedway there. As we're watching Marquez fight behind Archie Coveney, who continues to blink. If we travel down the backstretch here and we get to the turn 3 area, there is a residential area almost immediately behind turn 3. That's a bit newer. The houses that these drivers would have stayed in more were along the lines of what we see along Georgetown or along 16th Street, some of those older style houses. That's where they would have a room or someplace like that, where they could walk to the speedway and then still be close proximity where they could walk home if they needed to. Now, of course, everybody has their own hauler.
Correct. And I've got a lot of fun stories, by the way, about the neighborhood that exists behind turn 3. Part of our daily, or part of our yearly Indy 500 experience for many years after college was we had an arrangement with a family that would let us use their driveway to stage for the land rush to get in the infield. Because a lot of people may not realize this, the cars that would line up to get into the track when the gun went off for the aerial bombs.
Oh, they're lined up well overnight.
Right, they line up overnight, but the state police will not let you stop. So you just very slowly drive around the block. And we had an arrangement with one of the homeowners that lived in that neighborhood. And so they would allow us to, park in the driveway and use their facilities and so forth. And then the lady of the house, she was fairly young when this started, and she had gotten much older by the time we no longer did it, but she would run out into the middle of 30th and stop traffic at exactly the right moment so that the 4 or 5 cars that were parked in her house could escape and get in the line.
And there is Andrew Marquez getting the pass, or actually that's Clinton Martin getting the pass there on Dale Weiser, moving Clinton Martin up to top 10. Watching another battle between Archie Coveney and Andrew Marquez. We do have Archie Coveney fans shouting out in chat. Go Archie.
We do indeed. Marquez is working at Highline. He's doing it in a more modern way though. So Andrew is not doing the whole live in the Highline thing. He's starting on the right. He's going high to low, or he's going low to high. He's not living out there in the cushion like we've seen some guys do.
Yeah, don't want to see that car disappear right as corner entrance, and that's exactly what happened to Marquez going into 1.
And Andrew's such a smart guy. I have to believe that he might just be sitting there at this point. Thinking, okay,
absolutely. This is the 2022 Lionheart IndyCar Series safest driver, Mr. Clean, and that says a lot considering how aggressive everyone is in that series. That this guy can have the least amount of incidents out of 30 regular drivers that are the cream of the crop that show up nearly, a couple times a month to race. They all race hard, but he is the cleanest driver. And I was told when I was spotting for Caleb Binsey in that series that whenever Marquez got around them, I was like, you can trust this guy.
Yeah, I mean, if we think back to the official fixed broadcast, the week I broke my hand, it was at Richmond, and Marquez basically took care of me that entire race. There were several times where I would move not because I wanted to, but because I physically couldn't move the steering wheel in the direction I wanted to. And Andrew, had it been anybody but him, probably would have run me over. Marquez, never a doubt, gave you the run. Yeah,
he's one of the classiest guys I know when it comes to the IndyCar driver community.
And he's doing the right thing. So you got a guy blinking in front of you. What do? You got 2 options. You can either try to go by him, or you can sit behind him at a safe distance. Andrew choosing at this point 61 laps into a 200 lap event. He's going to sit behind him because he knows Andrew Marquez very fast. He's been here many times before. he knows, hey, look, there's going to be a pit stop cycle coming up. I'll get by him then.
Back up to the front.
The issue right now.
Right, exactly. And back up to the front, I want to point out that Jesper Orman did get around Daniel Borghi, but he is currently 2.1 seconds behind Graybill, so he is basically driving in clean air. He's probably 10 laps away from pitting here. He's 20 laps to do his current stint. Graybill, who's pretty much been the leader since the restart, he is probably looking at pitting here in the next 5 laps or so.
I was going to say, Jesper's probably got 10 more laps in the tank. He last stopped.
He's been under green the entire time. So, yeah, he stopped during the last caution.
Graybill did not. So he's, I don't know. Let me
I think he had about 9 in the tank when 9 laps done in the tank when he. So he's due
at
soon.
The edge now.
He's due now soon.
Yeah, he last stopped at 34. So he's maybe got 3 or 4 laps left. Maybe.
I want to say hi to the folks in chat. Thomas Christensen, how you doing? He had his first 500 here this year. Formula Otaku, hello. Oscar Fredrickson, yes, end of an era. Gonna miss watching and racing live. Yes, a lot of folks are gonna miss doing that, at least here in the IndyCars or whatever we're gonna call them here going forward. My man Antonio Estrada, yeah, he had his first 500 here this year as well.
Yeah, I'd echo that sentiment, but you know what? We can still race the car.
Still race the car, yeah. Now, what kind of concerns me, and here comes Graybill to pit road. Graybill to pit road. And we'll watch him as he hits the cones, gets down to the speed limit on the limiter, passing the lead over to Jesper Orman, and Daniel Borghi now move Daniel up to P2. What concerns me is I believe, my understanding is effectively, come the 31st here at the end of the week, that the IR18 then becomes, until an agreement can be made, and we got another come on Archie there from Rob Sutherland, we will get the battle back there to Archie and Marquez. That's the closest one on the racetrack. That effectively these cars become legacy cars at the end of the year, because if there's any new development that happens to these cars, like they adjust the windscreen, let's say they drop the new engine here in the next year or so or whatever, and it won't be reflected in the game because they don't have the license to continue supporting these cars. So effectively now all the Indy cars on the service are now going to be legacy 1231, which makes me want to probably drive the DW12 and the IRR5 more than anything else, because all the development of those cars have been done and they're not going to change any of those. Whereas I don't think I really want to race an IR18 that is in the game, and let's say it has the old engine and I want the new hybrid engine, and that's not in the game. So the only way to play that would be in another game. So I don't know. I think it might increase participation in the DW12 and IRO5 series, because the development of those cars are done. What you see is what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I think the community is gonna stay. At the end of the day, I mean, we can go on about the issue for forever. I think at the end of the day, you're going to see the community. You're going to see 2 choices. You're going to see people who are going to stay, and you're going to see people who are going to go do something else. And that's going to largely fall along the lines of what those people's interests are. For example, a large portion of this community are very talented road racers. Mm-hmm. And so, especially on the open side, you might see them migrate more toward the IMSA stuff. You're going to see oval guys like myself. I'll probably still run the car on ovals, but in terms of competing for championships or things like that, I'm probably going to have to migrate to a stock car, just because of reality, and the same way for us as it is for the same way with us as it is for the real drivers. A lot of that's financial, right? Many of us have real sponsors that pay real money, and so in my case, it's up to Black Magic Designs in a lot of instances as to where I go and what I drive. I would love to drive the IndyCar, but he can't be on TV, they're going to want something for their money. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
you have that in play too. We're watching, and we've got real pit stops here, and don't take away from the race. We've got real pit stops going on here. I like where David Grable came out. So he's about 7 seconds up on Jesper. Borgie managed to stay in front of Orman, but Orman's in his draft. But I like where Grable came out. 34 seconds behind. It's a 6 second gap. He's out of the draft, and he has nobody around him. He is essentially running practice laps on an empty speedway right now.
Oh, there we see Jesper coming off of 2. Down the middle of the back straight. Right in front of him is Borgie, the Mass Devils car. These are,
it is indeed. And
these are 2 of the larger European teams. IAR is a European, Scandinavian-based. And then the Mass Devils are more... they're Southern Europe, Southern European based.
So, I mean, I don't know. IAR has a distinct Ohio flavor to it.
starting to pick up the Americans.
my good buddy Chris Wilhite, that purple IAR car have been. It's always fun to be around him and Jesper and Kevin Burrell. I know Musselman just said that he's left that team, but all those guys are amazingly fun to race around Rashad. So, but yeah, what David Grable's got going on right here, Gary, this is exactly how I like to run a 500-mile race. There's nobody around me. I can absolutely get in zero trouble, and I can just run laps.
So he just pitted on lap 6. If he continues to our lap 6 laps ago, so he pitted at 66. So that's going to put him in 96 right before the midway point before his next stop. So that's the problem about being by himself, is that he has no one to really economize the fuel run on unless he turns the wick down. But you really can't afford to do that.
No, you can't. Now Jesper's going to be getting close to his stop here, right? He last stopped at 41. And we are at 73 now. So Mr. Orman's going to be coming here very shortly.
Yeah, he stopped 31 laps ago.
And then where does he come out, right? So how much dirty air is he getting off of Borgie that's going to hurt his lap times? The gap from him to Grable has stayed kind of the same. I think David's maybe picked up a 10th. Jesper's going to make one more lap here. It's picked up about a 10th, and that's actually one of the strategies in the fixed race that some of us have run, is you run to whatever the earliest pit in is, stop and try to get clean air.
Yeah, the fixed race 50 laps, so I mean basically the earliest there is get to lap 25 or so, right?
I think I pitted at lap 20.
Well, 20, yeah, 20 and then a 30 flat, then yeah, you're on fumes there on that last lap, give or take. Here comes Jesper off of corner number 4. He is hitting pit in, no speeding.
He got a little loosey-goosey getting across the cone.
He did, but he might have got it down. And now we're watching Scarlett on pit road. Coveney's coming. But Marquez, who spent all that time behind Coveney, got an extra lap out of it, and that's going to move Marquez to the top for the time being.
Watching to see where Orman comes out here.
Orman down and away. Here comes Graybill. You see Graybill just off to the left there. There's that red and white car coming across the start-finish line. Here comes Orman on to the access road. He's off the button. Here comes Graybill through the south portion of the racetrack. And you know what? This is going to be wheel to wheel coming off the corner. Here we come.
Yeah, David's got him, and Jesper's right there behind him.
But not by much. And the important thing is Jesper is right there in his draft. That's the important thing.
That is absolutely correct. So that was lap 75.
So 75, and then you add another, a minimum of 30, gets to 105 next stop, give or take, for Orman. I'm expecting Orman to probably just suck up to the backside of Graybill and probably just do some drafting now.
Yeah, David Graybill is going to get a really, really, really good look at the Indy Alliance logo on the nose of that IAR right there. And the reason being is that right now, as it stands, we talked about fuel at the Open. Jesper is, by my calculations, if we figure the stints at 30 laps, he's 5 laps short. So how do you get those 5 laps? Turn it back to at least fuel 3 here, and do not pass the car in front.
Right. And Dave's now in an interesting position. He goes, well, do I want to lead? And even if, let's say, Dave turns down the wick and said, well, I don't want to lead, let's turn down the wick and have Jesper pass me. All Jesper's going to do is says, okay, you don't want to lead. I don't want to lead, and you want to go slower. I'll just go slower with you. And so what the thing is you're going to open the door then is allow Borgie and Scarlett to catch up, which I don't think you really want to turn a 2-car battle into a 4-car battle. So they got some decisions to make here. If he wants to continue poking a hole in the air for Jesper to get continued better fuel mileage and to shave those 5 laps off to prevent a splash and go there at the end, or does he want to maybe try to allow Jesper to pass? And would Jesper pass? I don't think Jesper would.
No, you remember that fixed race at Texas where I ran out of fuel?
Yes.
I was dueling Jesper for the win and wound up running out of gas and finished 15th.
I do.
That was exactly that race. Jesper and I had a mild disagreement over who was going to lead and follow in that race, to the point where we were both running in fuel 8. And I finally turned it up and went. That was probably, that turned out to be a mistake, of course. But you want to talk about guys that are good at playing the fuel game, you're looking at least one of them right here. And David Graybill, too. I mean, he's a fabulous driver. We don't see him a lot because he's European-based, but fabulous driver nonetheless. Well, no, he's not. He's in the U.S.
Yeah, he's in the Club Plains, it says in the graphic there.
We don't see him a lot in our stuff. It's possibly runs the open side.
Yeah, I do see him on the open side, whether Indy Open or IIS. And he is the head of the SCOWRS Racing Squad. SCOWRS was founded in 2020. They have drivers that race in all levels of IndyCar. I think that as a team they do it right. They do a degree of league racing, but they have all their drivers really participate in the officials. He gave me their stats for Season 3 2022. Had 2 cars in the top 15 in the IIS, 1 car in the top 20 in Indy Open. Divisional series, they had 3 cars in the top 25 in Division 2 of Indy Open. Indy Fixed Division 1, Aaron McQuarrie was their lead driver. He was a top 25 finisher. But they had some champions. Dale Weiser was the IAS Division 4 champion. So these guys definitely have some high-level drivers on their squad. But you really only see them a lot in official races. And I think that's where you sharpen your knife, right? You hone the skills. You learn your racecraft and kind of in the league races and stuff, because you can get away with some more stuff there without hurting your iRating. But you really hone your skill and sharpen the knife in those league races where mistakes really matter.
Yeah, and that's something I had to learn too. I mean, I'm a relative newcomer to iRacing, so I only started in April of 20, April of 21, and so just now getting into that kind of deal where there until Season 3 I was still buying tracks this car. Matter of fact, season 3 was the first one I didn't have to buy a track. And so, but yeah, I mean, the league stuff is absolutely where you hone your long distance stuff more. You learn patience. It's not so much iRating you lose, but like in the Elite Racing League IndyCar Series, it's money, and that's something else. That's something else that's kind of really been a shock to the community. Is it's not just that we've lost our broadcast races that we're doing here, and this is great. And we've got, if we go back, if I go pop up the broadcast here, we've got 19, 20 people watching. There'll be a few hundred that wind up looking at it over the course of the next couple of weeks. But it's the funding. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you know Mark Bilas or not, but he had just announced a $1,500 purse for the Elite Racing League Indy 500 next year. That's in sim racing world, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And Lionheart's the same way. I mean, Lionheart had a huge purse at all 3 levels that they had, and that's going to hurt them just as much. So
yeah, and so it's different. It's different risk, right? In an official race, I'm going to be risking my iRating, which, some people will tell you, oh, fake internet points. I mean, I look at it a little bit more deeply than that, but I'm not going to go out and lose them just to lose them. But it's different risk. You know what I mean? I might take an extra chance or two for iRating when it's just iRating, but when it's money, that's where you learn. You learn a lot very rapidly.
Well, we're at lap 85 of 200. Thanks for joining us, folks. Really appreciate it the day after Christmas where everyone could be out doing shopping or whatever. You guys have chosen to hang out here with us. We appreciate that. Hang out here with Team SCOWRS for their Christmas 500, supporting the Indy Family Foundation. Make sure to smash like there, that thumbs up. Would appreciate that. And hit subscribe while you're at it. Turn that red button gray for us.
Absolutely.
And if you want to throw a little excess Christmas cheer our way, feel free to hit the Super Chat button as well. We'll gladly accept tips and Super Chats. As we only got 2 more broadcasts left here on the channel between now and kind of shutdown. Shutdown is 12:31. We're primarily an IndyCar channel, and that's, you live by IndyCar, you die by IndyCar, apparently. And we have a race tonight. We have the Super Split at Richmond, 9:15. That will be myself and Justin Petschauer and Stephen Larkamp. That's going to be our last Indy Fix broadcast for a while. And then on Saturday, our last broadcast for a while. Now, hopefully there's a long week here between now and then, and maybe a new policy comes of it. So we'll remain positive. I mean, this week really, you could call it kind of a protest IndyCar racing, but everyone's really wanting to get involved and do a last 500, more of like a celebration of IndyCar racing here on the service. Let these people know, and I say these people, I mean let iRacing know, and iRacing above all knows, they know the numbers, but mainly let IndyCar know is how popular this car is on the service. And everyone here is trying to celebrate that as well. But our last broadcast will be on 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which will be Indy Open at Spa. And then we're going to be on the shelf for the foreseeable future. See what happens as all this shakes out. Ooh, Archie Coveney getting really close to the turn 2 exit wall there on exit. He might even tap it. I think he's trying to figure out if he got it.
Yes, he is. And while we were there too, Clinton Martin dropped from the server.
Another drop from the server. We're down to 14 cars. Craig Forsyth, he's still out there turning laps. There's Craig, 3 laps down in the 14th. He is right on the tail of Jason Wallet. Wallet in 9th. There's Wallet.
Now Clint just reconnected, so he may be coming back here. And
there's Clint. There he's on the pit road out there.
And this is a hazard of virtual racing. It's just like weather in the real world. It's something that we all deal with. We've seen it affect Craig Forsyth. Another contender, Craig Martin, goes down to it. But still a long way to go here. Still
110.
Golly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still got 110, 111 laps. There's a long way to go.
David Graybill still your leader. Jesper Orman P2. He is on the portion of the race where everyone economizes now. At first stint, everyone kind of pushes hard, gets those early easy positions when the field is nice and close. And now in the middle portion of the race where everyone's working on fuel mileage, fans get up and go grab a burger at the speedway, at the concession stands underneath the stand. Although I recommend when you do come watch the race, the speedway food's good. The lines are always long. Pack your own food.
That's the Murphy family tradition. A bucket of fried chicken, a foot-long Subway sandwich, and my grandfather started this, and so my family history at the Speedway goes back to 1926.
Wow.
My great grandmother, my great grandmother Fingston, my grandmother's mom, my dad's mom's mom, came to the Speedway on her honeymoon. They went to the 500. Race won by Frank Lockhart.
Not exactly a honeymoon spot, I would guess, but...
Well, they were on their way somewhere else.
Oh, okay, so this was just on the way. Yeah,
Right.
I guess back then you could have gone, today's 500, let's go watch the race. You really can't... That doesn't happen anymore. You don't wake up one morning and say in Indianapolis, I want to go watch the race. No, you can't really do that anymore.
Right, you got to think, no train, no airplane, so everything was by train. So
yeah.
if you were going out west to, say, California,
yep,
from southern Indiana, you probably had to go to Chicago first.
And we got Graybill now on the backside of Bill Colley, and he's trying to figure out a way around him. Colley to the inside, and Jesper, he's going to go for it. Jesper's like, okay, I will pass you side by side in the 3. Jesper on the high side gets the position on Graybill, and now move Jesper and the IAR team up to the lead as Jesper now and Graybill on the pit road. That might have been a good move on his part. Can he get down to? Did he go too fast?
That was awfully close. I was actually about to say go to Jesper's onboard because you could hear him audibly lifting in the corners, trying to save fuel behind David. Now you got Graybill on pit lane, watching him pull into his box here. A little bit of a slide, locks up the fronts, up on the gas.
Watching Jesper now navigating through the north side of the racetrack. So just on the other side of turn 4 there on the corner of, I think, 34th and Georgetown. That is the Coke lot. And the Coke lot is actually the Indianapolis Coca-Cola bottler. It's not where you do Coke. It's where Coke is actually bottled, a legit Coke. And that is a big parking area. And if you ever get to experience one of the things from coming to the 500 weekend is to experience everything around the track that happens the night before the 500. That is an experience all on its own. It's right up there with Mardi Gras, if you know what I mean. But
we got a car spinning down pit lane.
Oh, and that's Christopher really Hetzel, I think. That might have been him. He has straightened it out.
He did everything but wreck that car getting on pit road.
Let's check this out. Let's go rewind and check it out here.
Ton of smoke came off of the 74 here. Now that's.
Oh yeah, he did. He probably sped too. We'll see.
Now that's hard stuff there. So when you see the car. He did. I think he got it down.
Yeah, he did it because he's rolling off right now, and he did not. He was only in the box 9.5 seconds, so that was not a hold. So the lead is still Jesper Ormans.
So he was too hot across the line, but he pulled the trick where he just slowed way down before the next timing loop because he was 80 miles an hour across the line. But I was going to say, when you see a car locked up like that and you see it slide to one side,
normally it comes around. And that's kind of what happened with Jesper and me when we were. I was helping him spot for the Open Fontana race this week. He came to pit road, and this was on the Friday strength of field race. And he just kind of one of those lazy spins right into the inside wall, and that ended his day just like that. Just a really lazy spin.
I was going to say, though, the amount of you can't see it, but the amount of I wish we could go back and show the amount of slashing that was going on with that steering wheel, because poor Mr. Hetzel there, he may need a new suit, because that is not fun. And you can't lift off the brakes, because in his spot, if you lift off the brake, the only way to stop that is to let off the brakes and let the tires roll. You do that, you're getting a speeding ticket, which ended my day at the Elite 500, right? So you can't let off the brakes, or you get a ticket, and you can't stay on them because you're going to crash. So give him 5 stars. That was an amazing piece of driving.
We're coming to the halfway point next time around. Jesper Orman, 24 laps on his current stint. David Graybill is the highest placed driver with fresh tires. He is 8th. Borgie is now 9th, 2 laps under their stint, and there we see Borgie 1 lap down. Graybill still on the tail end of the lead lap. That's going to help him when Orman does come to pit road. We'll see how many extra laps Orman managed to get drafting behind Graybill.
They are running more or less identical lap times too, Gary. More or less, right? So David Graybill came in at lap 93. Jesper was last hit pit lane on lap 75. So he's going to be doing, what, 105 to 107 would be my guess?
Yep.
Now, he's probably only saved a lap here. He's probably only saved a lap, but he only needs to save 5. So let's see, and he might have it all. He might have it turned all the way down. I don't see Borgie behind him as a threat. Matter of fact, Borgie's not a threat. Borgie is a lap down. Indica Scarlet, closest person on the leaderboard to Jesper.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, if you're Jesper,
we got a good battle here between Weiser and Marquez. This is the closest battle on the racetrack. Weiser 5/10 up to Marquez. Weiser trying to run him down. Weiser, one of the on the roster there, IndyCar roster for Team SCOWRS.
Or Marquez running down Weiser, is it?
I got Weiser running down Marquez.
I thought Dale was the front. Well, we've got poor Marquez is in a sandwich of Weisers.
So yeah, Dale is a lap down in 10th there, and that's the red car.
And then you got Will right behind him.
Here comes Marquez. He's just going to slide it on in there, and Dale lets him on by. So that's going to actually separate this battle a little bit.
I don't foresee that Dale is going to give Will much of an issue here. Wouldn't think so. So yeah, put our man Marquez up to 3rd. But again, I'm interested to see lap 105 is the 30 lap mark for Jesper.
And that's Marquez, 2 laps from now.
Yeah. So how long can they stretch it here?
Halfway home. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Halfway home here. As we're watching now, we're in the second half of the race and coming to critical pit stops here soon for the leader.
Now, I don't know how you view 500-mile races, at least when you're driving in them, Gary. But for me, the first 400 miles is nothing more than let's get through 400 miles without hurting the car. So that would seem to me very, very similar to the way that Andrew Marquez is driving this race. I mean, Jesper really has too, and to a certain degree, so has as David Grable, but I don't think we've seen near the bottom of the barrel as far as how fast these guys can go. They're just kind of hanging out and logging some laps.
For me, when it comes to 500 miles, I mean, I've watched and listened to 2 500-mile races my entire life, and there's 2 drivers that I have that I follow very much, and there's a couple things here on iRacing that
Marquez is coming.
Jesper got real close to the wall there. There's a couple. There is Marquez on pit road. A couple drivers that I kind of follow as a model. The first of which is Rick Mears, and of course he was the king of it doesn't matter for the first 400 miles, as long as I'm there at the end. There's really only one 500 he truly dominated from start to finish, and that was 80. Well, he did a decent job in 84 and 88. He was kind of there at the end in 79 and 91. But he was really I would fall to the back, get my car worked on, and all of a sudden, as the race moves on here, I'm back at the front, and I'm in a contention for the win. The other driver that I kind of use as a model, and ironically, it's not an IndyCar driver at all, is Mark Martin. And I just remember watching him in NASCAR races where he would start up front, but if his car wasn't set up right, he would just wave cars on by and let them by. And that's one of the connotations in iRacing that I highly disagree with, is that getting past is a bad thing. Getting past is not a bad thing. You have a strategy, you have a pace that you're going to run, and if that doesn't involve the car behind you, then you let that other car go. And there's nothing wrong with being passed. And some people really take that as an affront to being passed, and that's just not the deal. There's so many times I've been passed, and then later in the race I'm passing them back, whether because they stuck it in the wall, or they had a slow pit stop, or they made a mistake. I'm running my pace at my race at my pace. And whether that involves you or not, we'll see at the end of the day when I'm ahead of you in the standings. So that's kind of how I do 500-mile races. You just allow the position and the race to kind of come to you. But the key thing to 500-mile races is staying on the lead lap, staying with those leaders. Here comes Jesper coming to 33. 107, okay. Lap 107, coming to lap 108.
So he's truly now well on his way to doing this in 2 more stops. Whereas David Grable may have the same speed, but he's going to have to make an extra stop. I don't think there's any way that he can save those additional 6 or 7 laps that he doesn't.
Now here comes David Grable. He is on the other side of the racetrack, coming out of 4. Down the main straight. Is he going to catch Jesper coming into...
It is going to be awful close, Gary.
I think Jesper might have him.
It's going to be... well, but then he's going to go into turn 3, and David's going to have a draft, plus his tires aren't going to be warm yet.
Oh, he has a big lead. 1.3, 1.2.
Okay. If Jesper can get through 3 and 4 here, he's going to be in good shape. Now, the temptation for Orman is going to be turn it up and pull out a 3 or 4 second lead so that Grable stays a lap down. Jesper needs to resist that temptation.
Grable's on the lead lap. He's up. He's the first car a lap down is Hetzel there in the 14, which is right behind Grable.
True, but Grable is going to have to pit
one extra time. Yes,
lap. He's going to have to pit at 124-ish.
So the guys that are in the general vicinity for the same strategy here at the end, I think they're going to be the ones that we're going to be watching here. Is Indica Scarlett in P4. And you mentioned it before, Marquez. They're only 5 and 4 laps respectively into their current stint.
Yeah, I mean those cars have it sitting pretty right now. If you're David Grable, or Daniel Borghi, you're going to need caution here somewhere. Yeah, that's about the only way that.
McQuarrie and Hetzel are also in the same boat there. Forsyth, fortunately, he's 2 laps down at the moment because of a connection issue. He was 2 laps down. He's going to go 3 laps down when he makes his stop here. He's 32 laps into his current stint. Clinton Martin also had a similar problem, and they're racing together on the racetrack, or Not racing together, but in the proximity on the racetrack. They're 21 laps into his current stint. Clint Martin might be able to help out Aaron McQuarrie if he wanted to.
Yeah, Forsyth and Martin are going to be they're going to need mass chaos here probably. Forsyth and Finland just went down in his third lap.
Oh, McQuarrie almost into the south chute wall, and he had to lift big time. Here comes Jesper. He's got a big run on him. McQuarrie's going to go to the inside. He's going to force Jesper to go to the outside the pass. Jesper on the outside passes, clears him, but that's going to be costly for McQuarrie. Now that puts him a lap down.
If he didn't hit it, he got awfully close. That's a loose race car right there when you see that happen. And he almost hit it. He almost pounded it again coming off of 2.
Yeah, he's trying to find the right bar. That's more than the weight jackers adjustment there. That's a bar adjustment. That's a little bit more major of a change to keep that car, to help it turn and rotate. 112 of 200 in the books. Jesper Orman, your leader. David Graybill, P2, back 2.2 seconds. Daniel Borghi, P3, 9.3 seconds behind your leader. Indica Scarlett, P4, and Andrew Marquez, P5. Your top 5 here for the SCOWRS Christmas 500, benefiting the Indy Family Foundation.
And it has been a dandy of a race. We've got 2 varied pit strategies. We've got all kinds of fuel saving. You've got, even though there are 17 cars, I think there are 15 different agendas out there. And that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, we had a couple of incidents. Ricky Franchica and then Gavin Smith with incidents at the, I believe, the south end of the racetrack there off of 2. And 1 and 2.
Yeah, wild ride for Frankie. I hope he doesn't have direct driver. If he does, he got to let go of the wheel quick enough, because that was a good lick. And really, Gavin's was too. Just hit it.
Yeah, you know what? Thank God that was a virtual hit. If that was a real hit, that was pretty much that was a 90-degree hit on that inside wall there.
And that's a really bad place just in general. We used to, before I had the seats there in A stand, we sat in the infield just about right there. That is where the alley cats parked their form of transportation. Is right there at that opening, and then that's where, if you want to think back, that is where PJ Chesson and Jeff Bucknam ended the Himmelgarn team on lap 1 many years ago.
Okay.
As they crashed right there. That's a bad place to have it. Because if memory serves, they did not have a safer on that wall until very recently. No.
Jesper now rolling up on Clint Martin, who suffered a drop, and he's back in 15th at the moment. Right in front of him, I believe, is that is Dale. Got the Weisers out here. It's like the Winningtons. I guess got to remember what color everyone is, except the Winningtons were all yellow, I think. But
well, and I'm sure there are some other differences between the Weisers and the Winningtons.
that don't involve drug trafficking or anything like that. Yeah. Dale in the Ohio State sponsored livery there.
Clint Martin almost gave Jesper Orman a heart attack. He got so close to the south chute wall there.
Yeah.
And poor Jesper, he's not going to want to see anything like that. He's sitting in a great spot. He's wanting to just stay away from everybody. He's the heavyweight fighter that's just, the corner's yelling at him, stay away. We're going to see Dale Weiser just move out of the way. Absolutely good stuff.
And one of the Wisers hitting pit road there for a scheduled stop, it looks like.
Clint Martin, actually.
Oh, Clint Martin, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. He's one of those that had the connection failure, 5 laps down.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a scheduled stop for him.
Absolutely. The Wisers can, well, you got Will Weiser going at it with Indica Scarlet here. That is a battle for position. That would be 5th and 6th on the racetrack.
And again, these guys on identical pit strategies, 14 laps into their current stint for both of these drivers.
110%. Both of them very high on the speedway, too. It makes me so nervous when they drive up there like that.
Well, they sound just well underpowered. It's like one doesn't want the other one to go.
It could be Indica Scarlet is doing 203 miles, 204, 205 down the front straightaway. Indica lets Will go there. Very slow. Now, these would be cars that Indica Scarlet stopped at 103. So that's
133, 160, 163. The key strategy that I always tell folks that either I spot for or when I drive is my last stop needs to be as close to 170 as possible.
Yeah, that's we were talking about how you race and maybe somewhat different approaches, the leagues and officials. There's a transmission that comes from Trey Shadid to me whenever that last stop is up in a league environment, and that is pay windows open.
Okay.
When he says pay windows open, that's when it's time to go, and it's not open yet, right? So Indica doing what they can do, right? Lap 120, if they can stretch it here, quite clearly to me, a trap speed of 215 down the front. That's running fuel 8. So you can stretch it to 137, 138. Now you got a chance.
Well, David Graybill, P2 on the racetrack at the moment, 27 laps into his current stint. We've been green the entire way, and he's been pretty much in clean air the entire way. We're looking at Graybill probably in the next 2 to 3 laps.
And we've lost Clint Martin again. Thought I would throw that in there.
Ah, Clint. That's painful.
It most certainly is.
You go 250 plus miles into a 500-mile event, and then to get dropped. Actually, we're now in the 300-mile neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. You work so hard to get to this point. Now something outside of your control takes it away. I will say this. This has been an absolute blast, Gary. I do need to run. My wife has informed me that I have to go get my eyes looked at. So
that's better than getting teeth pulled. So we'll go ahead and let you get the virtual golf cart out of here, and we'll catch you later. But that is Mark Murphy, the 2-time reigning and defending Division I Indy Fixed Series champion, joining us here for Expert Analysis booth. Thanks a lot. And we'll catch you, and I will bring us home the remainder of the way, the last 200 miles here at Indianapolis.
Hey, if it's a long wait, I can always just comment in the YouTube or tweet at you.
You're always welcome.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Team SCOWRS, you guys have been tremendous. Have a great day, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.
Watching David Graybill, just as we thought, within the next lap or so, he brings it in. So he is now looking at 124. If he goes another 30 after this, this will get him into 154. And then 30 after that gets him into 184. Now will be his last stop. So he's looking at 2 more stops here. going wide there through the the south end of the racetrack. Coming out in front of Wallet and Forsyth. Forsyth now last car running in order. He is P14 at the moment, 3 laps down. Dale Weiser 13th, 2 laps down. McQuarrie, Herzl, and Colley all 1 lap down, starting from P10, 11, and 12. Wallet is actually last car on the lead lap at the moment. Not very far in front of your leader right there, Jesper Orman. Next car looking to pit is Daniel Borghi. It's 29 laps into their stint, and here they come, coming to exactly 30. So they're still looking at 2 more stops. And going past Gasoline Alley entrance there. All those garage areas you see off to the right there that have numbers on them, those are the old Formula One garages. A lot of them are used to sell concessions, I think, now for the Speedway. They're like a big store there. Back underway. Borghi still has 2 stops to go. Is Borghi going to get out in front of... that's Colley coming, actually. So, Colley almost into the turn 3 wall. Back up front, Jesper Orman, leader by 16 seconds over Andrew Marquez. These guys are on the same strategy at the moment. Jesper Orman 20 laps into his current stint. Marquez 22 into his current stint. So now we're looking at Orman getting to, if he is 20 laps in and going to he's at lap 128. So he's probably looking at lap 158 and 188 as being his last stop. So 2 stops to go still for Jesper. .130 of 120 in the books. Still in those dog day laps of the 500, right in the middle. Everyone's just kind of, like I said, you know, is when everyone's going for the restroom breaks. They're going down for the concession stands, getting refills, an extra burger, an extra track dog, what have you. We're just watching the laps tick off as we get to the critical final. Everyone says final 20 or so from lap 180 to the end of the race, and that I would say the critical moments are really lap 160 to the end of the race. That takes you from 400 to 500 miles. In that period, you definitely don't want to make any mistakes leading up to your final stop. And then, Jesper pushed a little high there in corner 2. I think he's been having problems with the second turn all day long. But still, he is your overwhelming leader at the moment. But this is the point we really want to set up to your final stop to be right around 170-ish. We kind of joke and some league circles. We race with Nick DeGroot. Of course, he's a motorsports journalist. He races with us quite a bit in many leagues. His strategy is always at 30 laps remaining in the Indy 500, and typically the way that you see a lot of fixed Indy 500s happen in leagues. Most of them are 250-mile races. 500-mile races do take a long time to do, even when you go under green the entire way. He likes to, at 170 or 70, pit that last time, and he is done. And I've seen that strat pull off for him wins a number of times here at the Brickyard in fixed series racing. So that's what I try to do. Get to 170, get to 70, close as possible, pit. You want to go 170 or more, because if you go inside of 170, that's what I mean, and you get 170, 171, 172. Don't want to go too far past that. I don't want to hit it 168, 169, anywhere in there, because then you're looking at possibly doing a fuel conserve and not making it if you don't have any cautions. And right now, I got to tell you, folks, with only 15 cars running, 14 cars running, and Aaron McQuarrie currently on the last car, he had an incident of some sort that caused him an extended stop on pit road. Not sure what happened. Maybe we can go back in time a little bit and see. Not sure how long he's been sitting there. I don't want to sit here too long. Yeah, he's obviously been there for a while. Everything is locking up here. There we go. We just saw Andrew Marquez make his pit stop. So he, as he's coming out right now, so he's at 135. It'll be 165. He is really close to doing it in just one more stop. Jesper Orman now 27 laps into his 28 laps now. Archie Coveney moving up to P2. We got some guys for, got some fans for Archie here in chat. He has worked his way up to P2. Oh, Graybill got really close on corner exit there. There's Jesper behind all of this. Orman, Coveney, Graybill, your three cars now on the lead lap, waiting for Jesper to make the turn to pit road. Coveney's next. He is at 30. And I tell you, if he can get to 140 somehow, he's done too. He's got one stop after this. Can he get to 140? Oh, Clint Martin says electricity blinked out. And no problem, Clint. Our pleasure, but feel bad for you. Oh, and Coveney down the pit road. He is going to fall just short, so he needs to economize this run in order to do it in one more stop. Jesper Orman now still on the racetrack. Now, pretty much by himself. It's him and Graybill, the only cars on the lead lap. Graybill is in front of him by about 2 seconds. There you see Graybill coming off corner number 2. There is Orman coming off of corner number 2, down the back straight. 5/8 of a mile, each of the back and front straights here. Each turn mathematically are identical, but they don't act like it when you drive the car. Jesper Orman coming to now 31 laps of his stint, so he just needs 2 more laps really, and he just does this in one more stop at the end. Hey, proceeds of today's race go to the Indy Family Foundation. The mission of the Indy Family Foundation is to aid those in the motorsports community, regardless of the sanctioning body, who find themselves in financial need due to hardship caused by illness, injury, or death. Jesper coming to pit road, and he's coming to lap 140. Did he get down to the pit road speed limit? He doesn't really need to push it. Yeah, people who find themselves in financial need due to hardship caused by injury, illness, injury, or death, their assistance is available not only to race car drivers, but to all licensed participants in racing, including crew members, course workers, support and administrative personnel, public relations and media representatives, and team owners, as well as their immediate families. You too can also give to the Indy Family Foundation just by go to indyfamilyfoundation.com. And in the upper right corner, there is a green button that says give, and you too can give to the IFF. As mentioned, proceeds of today's race go to the IFF. I want to thank Team SCOWRS for hosting this event and making it go toward a worthwhile cause here in racing. Orman is out. He is still your leader by 4 seconds. He has one stop to go if he can make it in 30 laps to 170. And this is really where the drama is going to kind of build there's not much going on, not much racing going on. Everybody's pretty far apart. Is who could get to this last stop. And here's another interesting battle on the racetrack. Coveney, right in front of the leaders, Coveney and Geisler. Tommy G, my race first teammate, he is in the 7th spot there. This is a battle for position between Geisler and Convey. Just up ahead of these guys is Indica Scarlet. So right there. Jesper pulling out into the inside of Coveney. Coveney's fighting for it, but he lifts a little bit going into 2, allowing Jesper to go by. Now put Jesper putting down Coveney another lap, or at least his first lap, so he is now a lap down. Now last car in the lead lap is Geisler there. And that race first sponsored Sunset Arctic sponsored car. To go through the field, Jesper Orman is your leader as we're coming a little quickly to the lap 150 mark. David Graybill is P2 by 4.4 seconds. Borgie is about another 4 seconds behind here in the battle. Actually, I think he's 8 seconds behind the battle here in Graybill. For third, Marquez. He is 4th. Here's Marquez. Kind of in that Castro Neves looking livery. Will Weiser there. We've seen him quite a bit on our broadcast here through Open and some fixed series. He's up to 5th there in the AlphaTauri. We got to get you an IndyCar livery, though, buddy. We got to get you an IndyCar livery. Indica Scarlet. Now, when we saw Indica last, they were really not 100% throttle and everything. They were saving some fuel, so they are trying to do this by not having to stop 2 times. They want to stop only 1 more time. They're 9 laps into their current stint. And has the leader, Jesper Orman, hot on their tail. And this is not really what Indica wanted to see. Staring down the camera from the top of turn 3, down the backstretch. I believe that was one of the... I sat there for the 97 Indy 500 That's where Robbie Gordon had that fuel spill that got into the cockpit. He had to he got into the grass there and had to do a stop, drop, and roll. And no one was immediately coming to his aid, and we're watching this guy rolling in the grass trying to put out flames. It was like, is anyone ever going to get there? He eventually put it out, but he had some pretty bad burns on his fire suit there. Fire suit definitely did its job. And then there was a big wreck later in that race that the only name that I could really remember that was involved in it was Jim Guthrie. Poor Jim was on a big roll coming in that 500. Of course, he won the 97 Duralube Phoenix 200, beating Tony Stewart. And there is that Graybill? Graybill coming on the pit road, scheduled stop. He's coming in early. And poor Jim Guthrie still had to leverage his house. They had Jacuzzi come on to sponsor the car, but they didn't sponsor it, I guess, for the full season. Gave him enough really only for Indy. Had a hard time qualified, and then plows the car into the wall in that incident, unfortunately. Down and away, tires and short fuel. And this is going to get, hopefully, Graybill to 170-ish, so he can finish, or thereabouts, so he could finish with one more stop. So here comes Orman now, seeing his key rival for most of the day, as the rivals have really turned into, the rivals today have been Orman, Marquez, Borghi, and Graybill. Graybill has led a good chunk of this race in the early stages. Orman sees this and definitely wants to put Graybill a lap down. How hard will he push, knowing that he needs to really make it another 20 laps on fuel to get to that final stop at 170. 5 cars now on the lead lap. David Graybill is the last car on the lead lap. There you see David Graybill. Will Reiser in the AlphaTauri. He is now P4. Borghi, Masked Devils. All day long there in that top 5. Andrew Marquez. This is a close battle on the racetrack here between Marquez and Borghi. I got a good battle here. Geisler, Coveney, and Wallet. This is all for a position as well. That's Dale Weiser. That's not for position in front of him. But Coveney, this is for position. This is for 7th. $50 laps to go. $125 miles, now a little bit less. Again, this is the first of many 500-mile races you're going to see on various streamers and broadcasters this week. Kicking it off here with the SCOWRS Christmas 500. And a good celebration of IndyCar racing to lead off this big week. Now, originally, this was supposed, in my notes given to me, this was going to be a test event for sorts before SCOWRS, Team SCOWRS, were going to host a 6 to 8 race full length races schedule in 2023, but they still might do that. But in terms of broadcast possibilities, are all up in the air at the moment. Graybill And a battle with Weiser, getting the position going into 1. They'll move Graybill up to 4th, down, move Weiser down the 5th. And Orman continues to pull away a little bit from Marquez. Marquez down 18.2 seconds at the moment. So the next car we want to keep an eye on for pit road is Borgie. Borgie will looking like sometime in the next 3 laps or so getting to, and then we see Christopher Etzel, excuse me. On pit road there. He's behind the pole. There he is. There in that Chip Ganassi livery. This will be, he still has 2 stops to go here. He'll fall short just a little bit. But Borgie, we will watch him. He is the next car to probably pit. Well, Borg probably would try to get some mileage off of Corley, but Collie, but Collie is not just going to kind of hold his line and allow him on by. Nice way to remain predictable. Good driving there. That's the key thing when you are not very familiar with some of these cars, is that closing rates are extremely high. And when you come up to a car that you're not sure what to do, or if you're got a car coming up to you and you're not sure what to do, really the best thing to do is hold your line and let the faster car navigate its way through. And there is the Borgie pit stop we were telling you, coming to exactly 30 laps this stint for that for Borgie and for the Masked Devils team. This is still going to bring Borgie about 14 laps short, as he will go another 30, so that'll put him at 156, so 186. So yeah, he'll have one more stop. Borgie, one more stop after this. Jesper Orman on the racetrack still, right behind Will Weiser. Weiser into the wall. And I'm sure Jesper did not want to see that. And he's going to move on by quickly. And we'll see what type of damage is indicative of Weiser's car here. He's going to stay on the racetrack, but he might have himself a damaged car. 3 cars now on the lead lap. Geisler and Borgie battle for position. Borgie coming up to speed. Geisler on older tires and light fuel. I think Borgie's going to try to send it in the 1. Geisler holds his line up top, keeps the position. Borgie could probably bide the time a little bit. Geisler needs to stop here in the next 6 laps or so. But he is going to go send it into 3. Weiser staying high. Weiser lifts a little bit. And allows Borgie on through. Geisler get caught up behind. Now it's a battle position because Archie Coveney is wanting that position as well. Also involved here is Andrew Marquez, who is the P2 car at the moment. Sees all this traffic in front of him. Does not really want to see this. He has 5 laps to go. Well, he might want to see it. He might want to try to extend this run as long as possible. He has 5 laps really before he needs to pit next. There's Thomas, Tommy G getting around Weiser. And Marquez decides to pit early with all that traffic in front of him. This is going to be This is going to be tight. He needs a caution. Otherwise, he pits with 10 to go. We'll see. Jesper now putting Marquez a lap down. Only car on the lead lap besides Jesper. There's Graybill, and he is better part of a lap down himself. You see Jesper coming off of 2. Graybill down the middle of the back straight. Jesper's probably looking to pit here in the next 9 laps or so. Final stop. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining, taking a part out of your the second busiest shopping day of the year here on December 26th. This is the SCOWRS Christmas 500. Make sure to click the thumbs, give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Got a couple more races that we got to cover here on the Race First schedule before we are clear before the end of the year. We do not have any plans as to what's going to happen at the end of the year. Might pivot to some other type of cars. We shall see. We're remaining positive. You're going to see lots of things can happen this week. Another agreement can be made. Who knows? Many things business-wise can happen. But we have tonight's Super Split at Richmond, 9:15. Don't want to miss that. That's will be the last Indy fixed race that we'll be covering for a while. And then next Saturday, this coming Saturday, actually the last day that anyone could broadcast anything IndyCar IR18 related or DW12 or IR05 related for that matter, we will broadcast the 1 p.m. Eastern Indy Open Top Split, and that'll be our final broadcasted race for a while, unless there's a new policy by then. We appreciate all of the messages of goodwill and everybody that sent us. Like I said, we're remaining positive. I think a good portion of the community is trying to remain positive as well. I think this week will kind of serve as a celebration of IndyCar racing with all the different 500-milers going on. Just watching the action develop here. Not much really going on. Scarlett and Dicka Scarlett on pit road. So they are going to either have to save 5 laps worth of fuel, and they rolled short of their stop, so that's going to cost them a little extra time. But they're going to have to save 5 laps somehow, hope for a caution, or one more stop. I would say the next car probably to pit road is Thomas Geisler's getting close. He is at 31 laps under the current stint. Weiser at 30. Wallet at 30. Geisler's been in traffic quite a bit, so he might be able to sneak a couple of laps out. He needs to get to 170. Can he get to 170? This is the magic mark. Everybody on the racetrack, you get to 170. And you haven't pitted yet. This is your last stop at 170. So Ken Thomas, Tommy G from Germany. And we were talking. Tommy G actually won a great race here in the Velocity Online Racing Series. Indy, it was the Indy 300, I think they had it at. And they had a great setup for that race. All the cars were pretty much in contention. And here he comes to pit road. So he's going to have to either save 3 laps, 2 or 3 laps, and get to the end. This might be his last stop. Also, same thing for Wallet. Can Jesper Orman do 3 more laps? Yeah, Thomas Geisler, we were talking with him as he coming off pit road. Maybe his last stop, we shall see. At German driver records, unless you're Michael Schumacher at this speedway, is not very good. Certainly not good on the oval. I believe there has been 1 German driver to win on the oval. I'll go back and look that up. No, I don't think there was an at all. No. No. Nope. There's never been a German driver to run on the oval. That's what I thought. There has been a German driver that has won an IndyCar race. And I believe that was back in the 30s. And if you see that on you can find that on Wikipedia. Had a strange flag next to his name. I don't want to get into it any more than that, but would like to see the appropriate German flag next to a winner from the oval sometime. But this is one of the men that can virtually do it, Thomas Geisler. He is one here in the Velocity Online Racing Series. Great race there. Check that out. That's, I believe, on Captain TV. Just search that up, Captain Esports. They broadcast those races. He helped me with my start here in broadcasting. Jesper Orman, last stop on 171. This is it. Jesper is done for the day. You can put the tools away on pit road. No more stops for Jesper Orman. David Graybill now, as he comes around and not going to, he's going to get a better part of his lap back, but he's not going to pass Jesper. Graybill's looking at another 6 laps for his final stops. So last stop for Jesper. He has managed to get right on the nose. And really the next 30 laps are Indica Scarlet back on pit road. Something happened. Not sure what that was, but that will cost Indica some valuable track position. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Oh, Graybill side by side with Collie through 1. So really, Jesper, I gotta say here, and I don't want to jinx him any with the broadcasters jinxer at all, but he just really needs to navigate these next 28 laps error-free. And this race is his because David Graybill, who's 5 seconds behind, needs to stop here in the next 5 laps or so. That will turn the lead over to Marquez. And I think even Marquez is going to have to stop one more time. So Orman, I think, is the only driver. Indica Scarlet now can go the distance. Dale Weiser can go the distance, and Jesper Orman can go the distance to the end. Now, Weiser's 3 laps down, and Indica Scarlet 2 laps down. Their final stops, they're not going to be going the distance. They're just going to be able to go to the end of the race with no more stops. Well, wow, we got the next 27 laps to kind of count down to. And who was on pit road that we saw? It's Christopher Hetzel right in front of our leader. If you guys have anything you want to put in the chat, go right ahead. Liven it up. Orman 2, the attenuator of Christopher underneath, gets the position. And puts now Hetzel 2 laps down. Marquez now P2 as Graybill has made his final stop. So he tried to run halves, I guess, there on that final stop there and that final strategy. Kind of shorten the final stop. Oh, Carter, who was that? That's Hetzel, and we're going to get a caution if he doesn't get it off the racetrack. He is off the racetrack. No caution as Hetzel got loose off a 2 and put it into the inside wall. That is day done for him. Oh, Jesper did not want to see that. As now he has put Graybill a lap down. As Graybill had to make his final stop. So we have now Marquez and Borghi. Borghi and Marquez are right at the border of making it. They're going to have to stretch it. I don't think Borghi's going to be able to make it. The numbers aren't there. Nope. And we got Mark Murphy checking in the chat now. He's in the waiting room for his doctor's appointment. So the last time that I can really remember, and I need to look this up just to be sure, I believe it was the maybe the 84 Indy 500 where we had really a winner that had a lap up on everybody. Contemporarily speaking, IndyCar races used to not to be as close as what we see today. I think we've been spoiled with close finishes in IndyCar racing in today's contemporary IndyCar racing. In the past, if you had a handful of cars on the lead lap and maybe 10 or cars running at the end, I mean that was pretty good for an Indy 500. And that had to do mainly with just the reliability of the gear and everything. And just now the engines are so bulletproof. And they've been running the same engines for forever here that they hardly ever, grenade. They do occasionally, but they hardly ever do it. 84 really is the last race that I can remember where the leader won by more than one lap. That was Mears getting his second win that season. Or second win, not that season, but second win on the 500. He ended up bettering Roberto Guerrero and Al Unser Sr. by 2 laps. Also involved there, a name that you don't see as a road racing expert, Al Holbert. Finished 4th that season, and Michael Andretti as a rookie finishing 5th, getting Rookie of the Year honors along with Roberto Guerrero. Also, another rookie in that race that a lot of people tend to forget about in the 84 500. Driver named Emerson Fittipaldi. A rookie IndyCar driver. 84. Finished 32nd. Drove a pink and purple car. That's before he got picked up by Patrick Racing as a replacement driver a little bit later in the season. Yeah, Rick Mears, 84, won by 2 laps. So that's what we're looking at right now, that type of domination. Ooh, I heard a car. Did I hear a car almost get into the wall? Yes! Look at this. Look at Graybill. Got down. Oh, great save. Got down to the concrete, the no-go area. Caught the car. There's your save of the race right there, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Your leader, Jesper Orman. You're watching race first coverage of the SCOWRS Christmas 200, or Christmas 500, as we're nearing lap 200, as we're 20 laps to go here late in the race. Jesper Orman is your leader. He currently leads by 23 seconds over pole sitter Andrew Marquez. Jesper started 13th, worked his way up, been very patient midway through this race, put himself in a place where he could command, or put him in a position to command, knowing that he was going to have that last stop right at 170. Everyone else has one more stop to go. He's in a position really where even if he was tight on fuel, he can kind of tune it down if he wants to. 24 seconds over Marquez. We got 3 cars on the lead lap. Borgie is the third car and last car on the lead lap. Borgie is going to have to stop here probably in the next 3 laps or so for their final stop. Mark is saying 1990 Ari and Reha lapped all but Emerson. That was a good race. That was the fastest 500 for a longest time until I think the fastest 500 after that was Tony Kanaan when he won in 13, and then after that I think then it belongs to Elio. We will see if these engines remain as bulletproof as they are. I believe that we will see a 500 average speed of 200 miles per hour at some point. If these engines remain, and because these engines and cars, the cars have changed aero kits since 2012, but the tubs are the same. These are DW12 tubs. With a different aero kit slapped to the outside of them. But if these engines, they continue to use the same engines and they just as bulletproof as they are. I think we'll see a 200 mile or 500 mile race with a 200 mile per hour average. Because if you think back to that race that Castro Neves was, here comes Borgie, final stop. Marquez made their final stop. So Borgie coming in. That was going to be, I think, a 1 caution race until a late caution. And when I say late caution, it happened right around, actually, not too far from where we are in this portion of our race. It was like right around the 160s, and that's when Rahal came out. Graham Rahal came out, and they did not attach his one of his rear tires on securely. And as he was coming up to speed on the pit exit road, tire came off and then he put it into the wall. I remember when he came out of pit road, though. I remember I was there at that race with my daughter, and I told my daughter, I said that was, I think that was his last stop. He was good to go. He was really, if you see how upset he was after that wreck, he was really in a position where he shaved a pit stop off his race. He was in a position to be among the leaders, among the challengers there at the end. He would have been there. And that was crushing. They had a great strategy. But if that caution didn't happen, I believe we were seeing a 200 mile per hour, 500 mile average. But that was a light caution, and then they ended up finishing strong by going green all the way to the end from that point on. 190 is the average for that race. We do have 400 milers that have 200 mile per hour averages. I believe those were at Michigan was 1. We have 300 milers with 200 mile per hour averages. Kansas was 1. Yep, that is correct. Ari Leindyke, for the longest time, held all major, and actually he really does. I mean, he doesn't hold the fastest pole average. That did belong to Scott Brayton, and then that, of course, Ari never was on the pole in 96. He was a day 2 qualifier because his day 1 qualifying was disallowed because his car did not pass post-qual inspection. I think it was too light, I think. So Ari had to go a day 2 qualifier and had to start behind all those day 1 qualifiers, including Eliseo Salazar, which I believe ended up costing him the race when Salazar just turned right on into him on pit out. And but Ari was on the move for that race. But yeah, he does that. He owns all major records: unofficial, official, 4-lap official. Had the race record for a long time. Now Ari Leindyke, or actually Eddie Cheever has the fastest race lap average. That might not fall anytime soon. 10 laps to go. Your leader, Jesper Orman, by a lap clear of everybody at the moment. All final stops are occurring right now or will occur. Will Weiser, Thomas Geisler, probably the next 2 to hit pit road. I believe they'll be the last. Maybe Coveney. Mark says he went a bit faster than David Bruce Brown's speedy 88.5 lapping. I've been faster than 88 miles per hour on the racetrack in my own car. The local Chevrolet dealers have a Camaro and Corvette Owners Appreciation Day where they invite, the dealers invite, if you bought a Camaro or Corvette from them, to a day at the track, and you get to have a lunch where GM sponsors it, and then you get to see the guy, the head of GM Racing. They typically bring in one of the Chevy drivers. We've seen Castro Neves, Hildebrandt before. And then they that's all preceded by allowing you to take the car around the track, and they are pretty liberal about the speed zones. Pretty liberal. 8 to go. Orman leader on the backstretch in the 3. Next closest battle, if we're trying to find one, is this right here, Coveney and Weiser. It's 1 point. This is 1 second right there. That is the closest battle on the racetrack. We got some Coveney fans in chat. Right now, your man is a position away from getting a top 5. If he could somehow get up to Will there in their AlphaTauri. Right behind him there is the leader, and the leader put him down another lap. David Graybill, P2, led a good chunk of this race early on. Andrew Marquez looked like he had a good position there. And just another late stop is putting him back to 3rd, a lap down. Borghi with an even later stop will looks like it has a top 4 here, provided they can bring it home. Will Weiser there, mentioned a top 5. Drafting behind family member Dale. Sure, Dale will do everything to help out the family member. 6 to go. There is our leader, Jesper Orman. I don't know if we'll see the single unofficial lap ever broken. I do think we will see that 2:37 fall, though. I do think if they're on the same development pace and what they're willing to let these cars. Ooh, you don't want to see that in front of you here in the late stages of the race. As Coveney blinks. Jesper to the inside, clears Coveney. Coveney now 2 laps down. 4 laps to go. It's a qualification run now for Jesper Orman, 10 miles. Hit your marks. Keep it off the wall. Plenty of room off the wall there in 2. Getting around Weiser and looking at the other Weiser. Along the north end of the racetrack. At a corner number 4. 2 to go. Looking at a 500-mile win. The lead to start off this week of 500-mile races. Jesper Orman, Team IAR. He did it today by coming from the rear. A shotgun on the field, drove it up, did some strategy, and managed to do one less stop than everyone else. And he is going to bring home a winner here in just over a lap and a quarter. Looking at the white flag coming down the main straight. Doing a bit of a weave. Final lap here at Indianapolis for the SCOWRS Christmas 500 benefiting the Indy Family Foundation. And he looks happy down the backstretch. Doing that Isaac Morris weave that I've seen before. Off of corner number 4. Domination we have not seen since well in the mid-80s. Jesper Orman wins at Indianapolis. David Graybill bringing it home second. Andrew Marquez gonna bring her home third for that last step. And let's take a look at today's final results here from Indianapolis for the SCOWRS Christmas 500. Jesper Orman getting the win. So that's a win on yesterday, or that's a win on actually the Saturday Strength of Field Open race, and another win here for Indianapolis. So a good weekend so far for him, or extended weekend. David Graybill, P2. Jesper Andrew Marquez, your pole sitter, part P3. Daniel Bordy, Will Weiser, your top 5. Coveney, Geisler, Scarlett, Wallet, and Weiser, your top 10. Colley, Hetzel, Forsyth, McQuarrie, Martin. Forsyth, McQuarrie, Martin had connection issues, and that rounds out your top 15. And Frankie Franchica 17th, Gavin Smith 16th, both had incidents with the wall, ending their days early. Proceeds of the day's race go to the Indy Family Foundation. The mission of the foundation is to aid those in the motorsports community, regardless of the sanctioning body, who find themselves in financial need due to hardship caused by illness, injury, or death. Their assistance is available not only to race car drivers, but to all licensed participants in racing, including crew members, course workers, support and administrative personnel, public relations and media representatives, and team owners, as well as their immediate families. You too can give to the IFF by just going to their page at Indy Family Foundation and clicking on the Give button in the upper right corner to make your contribution. And let's see if anyone steps into the interview room. It's a long day. And if anyone doesn't want to, I do not blame them. But we'll hang on here just for a moment and see if anyone wants to step in. If not, we will be wrapping up our coverage early. Thank everyone for watching from home. First things first, remain positive this week with the IndyCar situation on iRacing. I think something will come of it eventually. We just got to remain positive. And I want to thank Team SCOWRS for putting on this event. I want to thank David Graybill and for putting on the event and hosting it, organizing it, everything, and bringing IFF as part of the partner that they would contribute to for proceeds for today's race. And there is the winner, and we will bring him on up here. Hey, I didn't bring you up. You had to click up here. Okay. But we got you up here, Jesper. Congratulations, man. One less stop than everyone else. That's the trick.
Yeah, that was fun. It's really tricky out there, so yeah, I had to save a lot of fuel to make it. But yeah, I managed in the end, so really happy, and thanks so much, SCOWRS. I mean, that was fun. Always love to run a 500, and with a feed like that, it's fun. Gotta thank Andrew and David and Will and those guys. That's great.
When did you make the decision that, I mean, you were starting pretty much shotgun on the field. When did you make the decision that you had to, make that conservation effort in order to hit that one less stop than everyone else? When did you make that? Is that going into the race, or did you make that midway through?
No, with how the yellow fell there, I think it was like 100, what was it, 165 to go or something?
Yeah.
So I just calculate, okay, I need to save 15 laps. And so, yeah, I was just running like map 5 in traffic and map 6 when it was cleaner. So every time I hit a car, every time I had a car in front of me, I just put it into 5 and just followed. And more than often, I would just be faster anyway, because, yeah, it was really tricky. I mean, the track surface is 130 degrees. Track temp, and I mean, people are struggling going low, so I just kept the car low all the time. I got huge runs like almost every time, so it's real tricky. I mean, I've done thousands and thousands of laps here, so yeah, what can I say? It was good.
Well, it's a good way to start off the week. Of course, we were talking about it during the broadcast. It's going to be a week of 500 milers, whether it be here in Indianapolis or at Michigan. Nice way to start off the week for you and the team is getting the win out of the box. And then there's races all scheduled week long that where you guys, I'm sure, are going to be hopping in and out of. That this is a good way to get some momentum and going into those races.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Month of December.
Yeah,
that's new. I'll take it.
Who knew the month of December, right?
Yeah. Well, these 500 races, man, they're so much fun. I'm really sad what's going on right now with IndyCar and the deal they've made with the other game there. So it's really sad for IndyCars. I love these cars, and I really hope it's just temporary, and we will in the near future be able to race again, because there's nothing like racing against the best in IndyCar around the Brickyard.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I'm just kind of remaining positive. Of course, this is a kind of not a lot of business gets done this week, so maybe they'll find out something this week. But eventually, I think we'll hear something soon. So, remaining positive. So, congratulations to you. We got Andrew up here real quick. So we'll interview him next. But any shout outs you want to make? I know you got teams, teammates, sponsors, everybody you want to say hi to. A big 500-mile win for you, and the team's going to be huge. So the microphone's yours. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I knew a couple of my teammates were watching there, so Thomas and Seth and a few others. So yeah, that's for the team. Let's go.
All right. Well, we will see you later in the week, I'm sure, at one of these other 500s. Congratulations. Also here in the booth, we have Andrew Marquez. Andrew, well, it just seemed like one less stop kind of really was the big deal here. Finishing third, started on the pole. You really looked like you had the setup there in that first stint. You were kind of pulling away until that first caution came out, kind of brought the field all back together. But when did you kind of realize that your strategy was not going to be the one that paid off today?
I think it was about that second caution. I kind of went for a gamble and tried to cut off one stop going in that direction, but on the restart, I was just struggling so much with the dirty air and trying to get by the cars ahead of me. And by the time that I had gone to a certain point, I had lost so much time that I kind of said, you know what, forget fuel saving. I'm just gonna have to go full send, full burn, and try to go as far as I can, as fast as I can. And I think if I had been able to be up there with Jesper, I think would have been maybe somewhat competitive towards the end, but I'm not too sure. I can only speculate at this point, but I can't complain about P3 considering the challenges that I had gone through for most of the race trying to climb through the field.
Yeah, I mean, despite the field only being 17 cars, I mean, I'm the gist I'm getting, and it was a tough race out there, really.
Oh yeah, 100%. With the hot track temp and everyone just burning their tires in dirty air, it just passing was at a premium today. Like I tried doing different lines, adjusting my in-car tools, and I found a couple things that could at least get me closer. But unless like the guy in front of me made a mistake exiting the final corner, I was pretty much just a sitting duck and just waiting for them to make a mistake.
Yeah, we're watching your car here in kind of a slow motion on some mid-race laps, and you were taking it down to the cement in the corners where the rumble strips used to be to get this thing to rotate. So, I mean, you guys were hustling it, and we know what the risk is when you hit that cement down there. It's just like ice. So you were doing absolutely everything you had to get that car to rotate. Still, you got it. You got the pole, which is nice, and you got the third step on the podium, which is okay, all things considered. I know you wanted that win, but I know you also you guys were out there hustling it, and you did the best you can. While we got you here, man, I know you got teammates you want to thank and sponsors you want to thank. Go right ahead. Shout outs are all yours.
All right. So first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody at SCOWRS for showing up, racing, supporting us today. There was a lot of us showing up. Unfortunately, we had a few issues with a few of our teammates, but that's just how it goes. And I also want to thank my Lionheart team at Graphics Esports. Well, thanks to Tyler putting up these liveries for next season of Lionheart. Unfortunately, with the situation going on with IndyCar, would like to see the liveries more often, but on the broadcast. But hopefully things will turn around in the near future, and then we could get these cars back up on broadcast where they belong.
Wholeheartedly agree. Well, congratulations. We hope to see, I know I will see more of you in the future, but I hope to see more of you broadcast-wise in the future as well. Congratulations on the pole. Congratulations on the third step of the podium, and I'm sure we'll catch you later in the week with some of these other races as well.
For sure. Thanks, Gary.
All right. And I think that's... got David coming in here. Oh, mic issues on his end. Sorry, can't hop in the interview room. Thank you for everything, getting us on the air. No problem, David. Congratulations for you finishing second there. Again, if it's a tough race for those other two guys, I'm sure it was. You're just as relieved to have this thing over so you can go rest for the rest of the evening. So I think that is it. We shall probably get on out of here, give everyone a minute of the afternoons back. And don't forget, we're going to be back later tonight with the Super Split, 9:15, right here at youtube.com/racefirst for the Indy Fix Series. Last visit to Richmond. So make sure to tune in for that. But that's it again for today. Your podium from Indianapolis. Jesper Orman with the win. David Graybill, P2. Yes, and Andrew Marquez there in P3. Like I said, join Justin and myself again later tonight for round 3 there of the what they're now calling the Monday. We call the Monday Night U.S. Open Wheel Series C Dallara IR18 Series. There it is. Fixed top split season 1 of 23 as we'll be at Richmond, the fastest 3/4 of a mile oval on Earth. So coverage begins right around 9:15 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll be all right here at youtube.com/racefirst. We want to thank everybody for watching tonight. We love bringing these races to you. If you feel like you want to contribute to us, feel free to send us super chats right there in the window, or hit our GoFundMe page. The link may be in the description. We thank you for your time and attention, and we realize times are tough, but we know the feeling. We do know the feeling. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game's not easy, so please help support Race First with the Weekly Grind, and leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of today's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, the best thing you can do is always give us the old thumbs up. That is the best thing to do right there. If you're new, click subscribe and right ahead to hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on the last 2 other iRacing programs we got tonight again, and then next Saturday, 1 p.m., the final Indy Open Strength of Field race. We'll be at Spa. We will be covering that as well. That'll be our final race, and then we will go on hiatus for a while. Keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First. We know what Indy means. All of the proceeds for today's race go to the Indy Family Foundation, IFF. The mission of the IFF is to aid those in the motorsports community, regardless of the sanctioning body, who find themselves in financial need due to hardship caused by illness, injury, or death. The assistance is available not only to race car drivers, but to all licensed participants in racing, including crew members, course workers, support and administrative personnel, public relations and media representatives, and team owners, as well as their immediate family members. You too can contribute to the IFF if you go to their webpage at indyfamilyfoundation.com, and up in the right corner, click on the Give button there, and you can make your contribution as well. For business inquiries, learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. So for Mark Murphy, myself here at Race First, saying to everybody, thanks for watching, and all the men and women serving, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, and we will catch you later tonight. But until then, good day, good night from Indianapolis. Your winner, Jesper Orman, here in the SCOWRS Christmas 500.